it slings it out onto the inside of the tank, and it drains to the bottom, comes out the gate at the bottom, down here, and runs into this tank, which is heated. That has a water jacket on it, and it heats the honey, so it's a little thinner. It only heats it to about 105 degrees, between 105 and 108 degrees. And then there's a pump, and the honey comes out the other, this end of the tank, into the pump, and then from there it's pumped into another warmer, and the honey flows through the copper pipe, but the water is heated. So that heats the honey. It's probably not, it hasn't been run yet, so it's not warm yet in there in the hose. And then it pumps it up to here, and it goes through this double filter.
That's 2 screens.
2 screens. One's real fine, and the other one is more coarse. And then there's a nylon screen here that it goes through.
Oh, that's good.
Why don't you tell them where you got your tanks?
Yeah, these tanks, you can buy these at farm auctions, different places. This is a milk house wash tank for washing up the milk equipment.
If you go to a dealer to buy one of those, they'll charge you $100, $200 at least. You go to a farm sale, I've had as many as 3 of those. And one I paid $20-some. One I paid $12 for. The newest one was $12. It was just like this one, exactly like this one here. And then the other one I just used. It's my son-in-law's. I lost the other 2. A guy didn't know where they were. He was a farmer.
Now this is called a settling tank. The honey comes into here, and then you leave the honey in here at least 24 hours. You can leave it in less, but the honey settles to the bottom, and the wax comes to the top. Any particles that are in there, pollen, wax, bees' knees, as Oscar says, anything that gets through there, it'll float to the top. So then when you draw the honey out, you're drawing out the nice, good honey at the bottom that has no particles in it. And some people prefer that, and then there are people that prefer the honey right out of the extractor with no filtration whatsoever. Raw honey. They don't want it warmed in any way, and they want it.
That's where I say you're going to get it with the bee's knees.
Yeah.
Because when you take it right out of there, you're going to have a bee's knees. And I had one person said, I don't mind that. And that's what they call virgin honey and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
This is the raw honey that people eat to avoid allergies.
Right.
Yeah.
And any honey, any local honey within 15 miles of your residence is beneficial to you because it's still got pollen in it. This still has pollen in it, even in this tank.
So would you consider this raw honey?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
still raw honey.
Because you didn't heat it enough to,
Just slightly above body temperature, so
yeah.
if you buy it at the store, I've heard that it's 130 to 140 degrees is heated.
Yeah.
Because people don't want it grind letting, and that is a way to keep it from grind letting, is to heat it up high. It also destroys some of the enzymes, some of the things you
Yeah.
want.
That changes the sugar, the type of sugar. It converts some of the sugar to a different kind, so that it doesn't crystallize. And so, either one doesn't, and I don't eat it more than 105, 110 degrees. Because after you get past 110, you start to destroy, besides the pollen, there's some other chemicals in there that are broken down, so they tell me.
Yeah, you change the enzymes in the honey
Yeah.
and the type of sugar it wants.
And if you haven't ever, I don't know if you get a sample or not, but if you taste this honey now that he's gonna extract,
Yeah.
you will be able to tell that it tastes different than the stuff you buy in the store.
I've had a lot of people say, I don't like honey. I say, well, did you ever buy honey from a beekeeper? No. So I talk them into it. Boy, they come back. They know the difference then.
He's an entrepreneur, and he figures out ways to sell all his honey to the best price.
One of the unfortunate things on that, as Wayne was talking, I do honey tasting whenever I can. And people will come up and they say, oh, honey is honey. And you say, well, come and taste it. Well, then you have different kinds of honey. A lady just brought me some this morning. It's Tupelo honey. And we were talking about this earlier. And I'm going to use this at a honey tasting. But beekeepers are they should do one thing, and that is when a certain kind of honey comes in, black locust. I took that off one time, and the guy that I had the bees on his place, he had the black locust, and I kept that separate. I didn't extract right away, but I knew which supers it was in. I extracted it separate. I gave him a gallon of that, and he never said anything before about how good the honey was. He said, man, that was the best honey. He didn't know where it came from, other than from me. But black locust is a nice light honey, and it doesn't crystallize very quickly. And then, of course, the basswood. So if beekeepers would separate those, you'd have these people really wanting, like Tupelo. Southeastern U.S., that's the only kind of honey to eat, is Tupelo.